We are not running out of water in California. What we are running out of is cheap water. Therein lies the problem. California is the land of extremes. We have an annual drought. It starts in May and it ends in October if we're lucky. As you may have heard, we're in deep trouble right now in that carryover water. We've used it. We've used 2/3 of it. If you do everything intelligently, you'll use surface water a lot when things are wet. And then you rely on that groundwater, heavily on that groundwater, to get you through the droughts. And then in the perfect textbook example, during those wet periods, you fill that groundwater back up and you're ready for the next drought. If only it worked that way. Every year we draw down about 2 million acre-feet of water that we do not replace. So this is called overdraft, groundwater overdraft. So we have been progressively mining water in California rather than sustainably managing the groundwater. The most productive agricultural region is the San Joaquin Valley, Tulare Basin, just to the north of here, and it is a desert. So you're going to have to move water long distances through distribution systems to get around in California. And that distribution system, if it busts, is a huge problem for you and for the rest of California. Remember that 80% of the human use of water in California is agricultural use. And that agricultural use relies very heavily on inexpensive water. Otherwise, their crops just are too expensive and they can't sell them. We've built all the good dams we're going to get out of California, all the logical sites where you can store and retrieve a lot of money. More reservoirs would help because they create flexibility in how we operate, but it does not mean new water. New storage does not translate to new water for the very simple reason you got to fill it. If you took all the new storage that people are proposing, that's about 9%, it's about 7% of the new storage, it's an increase in yield of 1%. You have to remember, you have to fill it, and moreover, you have to keep it in the reservoir. This is why I keep telling everybody, oh, the drought would have been so much different if we had more storage. Would we have had the discipline not to use that water in year 2 and in year 3? There is nothing to indicate we do. We have been propping up California with groundwater, but we're propping it up not as drought storage, but as annual use. That has to change because as they keep drilling wells deeper and deeper, it gets more and more expensive for them to pull the water up from those great depths. And at the same time, they actually wreck water quality when they're doing that as well. So eventually, it gets too expensive to grow the crops using these deep wells. And so it solves itself that way. But if you're a family farmer who's been on the land for 100 years, a certain unnamed insurance company comes in and buys up the plot next to you and drills a giant deep well, and you're dry, you're left, you're bankrupt. That's probably not good social policy. The farmers have a tremendous economic stake in doing whatever they can to get water, so they're using groundwater unsustainably. We have a deficit now in California of 100 million acre-feet. What that means, if we turned off all urban water use for 10 years, we couldn't replace that water. The unsustainable use of groundwater is now, in the middle of this drought, made groundwater very expensive.